So in this case, we're going to deal with the Colombian company, Studio F. Now, when we look at international marketing, sales, issues such as that, oftentimes we look at the internationalization of clothing and the globalization of tastes. So tastes for one person become similar to another. But we also look at the globalization of markets. Now, increasingly, Studio F is able to tap into this, but it wasn't without a lot of effort. First, Studio F is traditionally a company that appeals to the classic kind of cliched version of the Latin American woman as very sexy, very what's termed in Colombia as sort of lobo extreme or flashy. But what happened is in the early 2000s, Zara came to Colombia, and Zara started to offer much different types of clothes. Before Zara, women had the opportunity to have kind of younger women's clothes or very older women's clothes, and there was a lack of market for clothes for the businesswoman. What Zara offered is affordable clothes for the businesswoman. So this really was a big trigger and motivation in the change of Studio F, because first they needed to increase their profits because Zara was cutting into their market share. They wanted to be a player in international design, but also they had traditional competition. These competitive forces of Zara moving into the country really affected them greatly. Now, another issue, though, was that when Zara came here, or when international companies come here from the UK or Commonwealth countries, that they're not going to have the same sizing that's necessary for Colombian women. Zara was able to look at the Latin American woman and size clothes effectively for them. And thus, they also figured out that there were different lifestyle issues because women in countries around Latin America were having the same problem because there was younger women clothes, older women clothes. There wasn't women clothes for the office. These were triggers and motivations for Studio FA to go internationally. First, what they did is they started to bring in designers from other countries. Particularly, they started to bring in designers from Burberry, from Mango, and from Zara. Now, this is a pretty good example of how this worked, is they used very similar types of designs from what Zara had, and then they put those on the shelves in Studio F shops. Now, this is completely legal as long as you don't use the same pattern. You can use the same inspiration. So you would see this in Zara. Next, they changed the line. They made 3 basic segments to the line. There was the young girl line that was more represented by flowers, by tight fits, by shorts. Then they had more of a line that was able to be used by women going to the office. And finally, they had the black line, which is for nights out. Also, they started to expand internationally. What you see here is actually an advertising campaign for the Mexican Zara with Mexican models. Now, in Colombia, there's over 200 outlets, but also there's over 100 outlets internationally now. Now, these happen primarily in Mexico, where it's a very big brand, and you can see throughout Mexico there's different outlets. But even in Mexico City, look at this, all those outlets in Mexico City, all over the city, in different regions of the city. And Studio F has become really popular there because of its different brands. Its dominant brand is Studio F, and then a brand for younger women is Ella. And now they have another brand, which I just found out about. I can't get much information on it, which is called Top Down. In addition to this, they've also expanded and put a lot of money into research and development, international fashion shows, and just expanding the quality of their line. So this is a case on Studio FA, and make sure to relate this to markets, motivations, and market triggers. Thank you so much.